Welcome everyone to day 2 of the Classic Roundup. Another big day, Brett. Second half of the first round of the Open Camp Draft, of the Martin's Stock Haulage Open Camp Draft. Round 1 of the Pride's Easy Feed Performance Horse Challenge has been run and finished off for the day. That's just the dry work part of it. And didn't we see some big runs in there today, Brett?
And no surprise, the same guys, you see that they bring these horses back every year.
Mm-hmm.
They're primed, they know what's going to happen. We've got our reigning champion sitting on top of the leaderboard, which we'll go into a little later on.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Later in the program, we're going to recap the first round of the Masters with our judge, Mr. Tim Hollis. It's, there was 52 runs. Peter Bolton, he's sitting on top in the Open Camp Draft. He's got a 90-point run in the Masters. That's a match up that, he's on fire, he draws the cow, he's going to be very hard to hold out.
Absolutely. No doubt about him. It's pretty unreal to see these, riders come through, and I think when you're hot, hey. So, Bolty's definitely picked the right time of the year to come out guns blazing, and he's done the work at home and, found the right horses and got the cow, found the right cow in the yard at the right time.
Now, going back to the first round of the Open Camp Draft, now it's been completed. We'll just have a look at the leaderboard for everyone there at home. So you got in equal first and second, Peter Bolton on Reflex, 93. Barry Shan on his Resident Stallion, chauffeur driven, 93 points. Last year in the wrap-ups, we spoke a lot about mare power with Hells Are Coming and stuff like that. Go back and have a look at Chauffeur Driven.
Yep, unbelievable.
Gidgee Coles, his mother, a futurity champion, cutting futurity champion.
Yep.
It's no surprise that Barry's stallion has come out and he's sitting on top of the leaderboard.
Yep, that's right. That just shows the depth of breeding to the horses that we've got here, by the great Acres Destiny and out of Gidgee Coles, owned by the Two Hill family. So, back to that whole family deal, this runs, right through our whole program. You see family come through and come and camp here together and compete together, and it's just so nice, and I'm really happy for the Shan family that they're up there at the start of the Open Camp Draft in the first round.
And then we drop back onto 92 points. That there's a lot of competitors on there. I'd like to make mention to a horse that's sitting on 92 points. These people travel. They haven't missed a sale.
Yes.
They've supported it in the way of they've not only sold here, but they've bought a lot of horses out of here. And that's the Acton family with Malungra's Moonbeam. Luke Bennett, the jockey. It is just so exciting to see that horse have big rounds outside. Talking to Luke a little earlier, and maybe 1 or 2 rides before here,
Unreal,
straight out of the
it?
breeding barn.
Yep.
Had a collection last week and said, righto, let's go camp draft.
Isn't it awesome?
It's but just so good for Evan and Kim that their homegrown product comes down here, runs 92 points in the first round of the Open.
Fantastic.
Out of a special mare.
Kirkby Stud Flash.
By Conman, and they're right up there.
Yep.
Not only that, Ben Hall, 92 points. On Jackson, Rob Leach, Hazelwood Congressman, 92 points. Ben McNaughton on another Conman on Conway, 92 points. Pete O'Neill, Flutter.
Yeah.
They tell me Pete was running late today to get to the camp draft.
Was he?
Yeah. Tony only set the alarm at 3 a.m. So he was ready.
So he got to sleep in?
Yeah, and he was ready. The horse was warmed up. I don't think they'll do that tomorrow, Pete.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Doesn't seem to worry him. He's going pretty good so far.
First out this morning, 91 points.
Unreal.
So then we go back to the round 1 of the Pride's Easy Feed Challenge. Josh Smith, Gee I'm Hard, 78.75 points. In second spot, Dan Lindley on Benelite, 78.5 points. That's close.
Yeah, bloody oath. There's no, there's 4 rounds effectively with this, challenge. So that you've got your dry work, then we go on to do a working cow horse section, that's our wet work. And then with the final, they get scored on a dry work and scored on another working cow horse. So, there might be only half a point in it now, but another half a point over that many sections does add up. So it's it looks, little at the moment, but it can really add up to to be the difference between first and second.
When the whips are cracking.
Yep.
Back in third spot, Leah Reid, Romantic Acres, on a 77-point run. And then in fourth, Nathan Wilson on Mitchell's Kentucky. I believe Hazelwood Conman out of Duck and Daisy of John Mitchell's.
Yep, so Conman's pretty prevalent in there, and we should go back to our leader, that Gee I'm Hard. That's last year's winner, and out of that special mare, G.I. Jane. I had a quick catch up today with Joel Duff, and he was gave us a great insight as to that mare and how special she is. They've actually got 18 progeny out of that mare, and they've all gone on to do stuff. I think there's 14 registered ones so far, and then we've got this Gee I'm Hard that's come through to, I think he's pretty well undefeated in the challenge world. So,
and just good to see that it's no fluke. The times I've seen him, he's gone from the Toowoomba Challenge as a 3-year-old to win a 5 and under event, go through, win Cloncurry, won here last year, and he's back winning again. You'd be pretty confident to say one of those little black and white Friesians is going to get proper run down the fence there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd just seen him run in the Classic. He's an athlete.
Absolutely, and I think he's in for a pretty good shot of that $20,000 Navajo trailer. So the first half of the Nutrien Classic is underway as we speak, and at the moment we've actually got Ben Hall on a 91 leading it. But old Ben, he's not bad, is he?
It's phenomenal, the way that, people don't even have to pay for the lesson that Ben's handing out down there.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fence sitters normally have to pay to go to these schools.
Yes.
Ben runs them down there for nothing.
Yes.
91 points, leads a Classic. It's outstanding to see. These horses have been away and done a power of work, and they've come back to the show pen and they haven't disappointed.
That's right. Yep, he certainly does a job on them. We've also got in the lineup there Will Durkin, so another northerner, and Will's one of our up and coming, and has certainly a fantastic horseman in his own right, and won a lot of stuff in the north. So it's really exciting to see Will down here doing well and chasing these cattle. Southern cattle are pretty different to Brahmins in North Queensland, Central Queensland, and up in the Territory. So it's nice to see that they can cross over and come down here and chase this southern stuff.
Well, there was talk that a few New South Wales camp drafters were trying to put a hotspot at Charters Towers for the COVID from where Will is, so he couldn't effectively come.
I can completely understand why you do that.
I can see the method in their madness, but it didn't work.
He's here.
Anastasia said William's going down there, and look at him, straight up there into the leaders.
Yep, unreal, isn't it?
Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to come back with one of our judges, Tim Hollis.
G'day, I'm Peel Tribe from Navajo Trailers in Warwick, Queensland. We build custom-made truck bodies, trays, crates, horse floats, goosenecks and accommodation living trailers. From basic designs to high-end finishes, we offer personalised service with experience where it counts.
Welcome, Tim, to the panel here this afternoon to recap the Masters Camp Draft. That's the first event you've swung the whip at. Obviously, we've got a lot more competition for you to judge, being the Stallion Draft, the National Camp Draft Rider competition. How was the standard of competition in the Masters yesterday?
Yeah, thanks Brett. Thanks Felicity for having me, and to the Nutrien team for asking. First of all, it's a privilege to judge at Nutrien. It's such a special event on the calendar for everyone. The standard of competition in the Masters was exceptional. You couldn't have painted a prettier mob of steers to run the Masters draft. Those Drought Masters steers were unbelievable, weren't they?
Fantastic.
They just dawdled off the truck and they were well looked after. The competitors did very well. Peter Bolton, on fire, as you mentioned earlier, unbelievable. He's having a great week, puts in the work at home, does a great job. Morgan Webb, hot on his heels, very neat round, some very good competition, and there's a lot of other good competitors not far behind him. They'll keep him honest all the way home.
Tim, as we sit here today, the current co-judge of the Warwick Gold Cup in 2019.
Yep.
These horses wouldn't be out of place rolling up at Warwick on the third weekend in October as competition horses at that level.
And like from the competition we saw in the Masters was very high, but I think this catalogue of horses that you see, these open horses, this current catalogue of horses this year is exceptional, and they would hold their own in any competition across the state. Yeah.
So, Tim, judging these big events, how does it compare? Like Brett said, you know, you've been a previous Gold Cup judge, which is a massive event and always a big one on our camp draft calendar. How does this event compare to something like the Gold Cup?
Oh, it's very much a privilege wherever you get asked to judge, whether it's at your local draft or at Nutrien at Warwick. You have the same parameters when you judge, and you do your different processes to try and concentrate your best you can. And certainly at Nutrien at Warwick they are exceptional events, because you're nearly excited with every big competitor that comes in the camp, because everyone has a different craft.
Yes.
And it's really interesting to watch. Everyone has a different style, craft, however you like to call it. You sit there and you're learning while you're judging as well, and just concentrating on run to run.
Yep, it's unreal, isn't it?
Tim, it's no fluke that you've come through the ranks to end up as a extremely highly regarded judge to judge these big events. You know, there's people that they've designed a career around these sales and incentives and businesses. Where did it all start? And obviously, both your parents are extremely well-respected, highly successful camp drafters. How big a part is that family aspect of camp drafting and bringing, like, you come through the ranks to where you are now? Like, you know, we're talking about horses that go back to Abdal and Warwick Gold Cup winners that's been in your family. That must be a huge help to your program.
Absolutely. I have a real passion for judging. Judging is a privilege. From my father, he had a real passion for watching camp drafting, studying cattle. I try and think to take it to the next level as far as watching each competitor's craft is really interesting. But yeah, like I said through my profile on the Facebook page, on the Nutrien page, that like my father handed down to me, a real interest in just sitting there day long and watching camp drafting, and it is a privilege to judge, and I really do enjoy it, and I try and do my best every run.
I'm not sure if everyone has seen, but over the years at Warwick, the seat on the grandstand side of the cutout yard, there wouldn't be a run that Bruce didn't see.
No, that's right. He would sit there all day, and we've got photos with him falling asleep in the seat. You know, he'd just sit there all day and watch. When he retired from actual competition and would watch. I'm very lucky. Amanda and I are bringing our kids up. Like, one thing COVID has realised to people is, you know, the value in doing things as a family.
Absolutely.
You know, like the kids are kicking around on a pony, you go into a camp draft, like it's just the greatest family sport, and through the Nutrien sale has been a great advocate for, you know, just generation to generation, as we've seen with, you know, look at the leader, Peter Bolton, like, you know, look at his family. his family, like it, you know, you look at all them leaders, you know, Ben Hall in the Classic, look at his, like, family. You know, it just passes through the generations, doesn't it? It's unbelievable.
And just getting a little sidetracked on that, we look at the GCA team that you're going to be judging. You've got father and son riding in there. You've got Ken Bolton sitting, you know, alongside Peter in their championship team.
It's pretty special,
like,
isn't
it? That is something that, you know, would mean a lot more than, you know, someone that's outside our ranks to go, you know.
Well, you would have got a taste of that yourself as a juvenile, winning that World Championship camp draft at Sydney. You know, that would have I'm imagining, lit a fire for you early.
Absolutely, and that was at a very young age. I was privileged enough to draft alongside my father there in the family draft, and we won that as well. And you see it through many families, like all the families really.
Yes.
Like it's you grow up around the sport and you study it, and it's just the most fabulous family sport.
That's right. So, tying in there, we do have the Young Guns Camp Draft starting tomorrow. It's I'm sure that it's got $12,000 cash up for grabs. So that's something that, it's very special to Nutrien and the team, that the Young Guns are coming through, and we're looking after that future generation. So hopefully we're doing that. And well, when you look around and you see all the young people and new faces, me being away for a couple of years or a bit quiet, you see new people coming in, and it's pretty easy to lose touch with these young kids that all of a sudden you're competing against, and they're really good.
No, they'll have their foot on the accelerator tomorrow. And I was only saying to a good mate today, like the young generation now must feel very privileged to have such an event to showcase.
Absolutely.
And they're getting on the best of the best horses.
Yeah.
And we never had that privilege when we were young.
I reckon I was just on the cusp of everything. I actually started a bit later. Just missed out on the associate stuff, and then I think the year after the year the Young Guns started, I was that 1 year older, so I was never in it. And you kind of sit back on the sidelines and go, "Wow, how awesome to be a part of that."
We talk about the family aspect, and even though they're everyone's in a group or whatever, there's still one big family.
Absolutely.
I listened to a podcast of Terry Hall about a week ago.
Yeah.
And the legend of our sport, like, is there a better word or a more high-profile word for Terry? But the big thing for him was everyone needs to ask more questions.
Yes.
And when you got someone like Terry Hall saying the kids need to ask more questions, what more can you get?
If he's sitting beside the camp, go and sit beside him and listen. Whatever he says, listen to it.
Yeah.
Because he like, if you've ever got a question about you're having trouble with any horse, and them people that are standing beside the camp, there's a lesson in that every day, isn't it?
Well, that's the generation that seen the horse and cart and the sulky, and we are losing that gradually. So that's the sort of thing or the people that we need to cherish and look after and listen to and learn from, for sure. Yeah.
Tim, thanks so much for giving your time to come here and give us an insight on not only your judging and all that stuff, but the personal side and the family, and where you've come from, from your parents, riding those great mares, and where they'd come from, and thank you for giving everyone at home and the little more insight into Tim Hollis.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so kicking off with the Young Guns Charlie Marr Memorial Camp Draft tomorrow. That's going to be really exciting to see. We've got $12,000 in cash up for the prize winners.
Kimberly Salmon swings a whip for that. She's extremely capable, a fantastic competitor. Great to see Kimberly out there keeping an eye on the Young Guns.
Yeah, that's right. And, Kimberly's actually been right up there in the Open Rider title, the ACA Open Rider title, and she's fantastic giving back to community events, so it's great to see her get this gig and to judge this camp draft, and I'm sure she'll have a ton of fun doing it. We've also got the second round of the Pride's Easy Feed Performance Horse Challenge in the indoor arena. Now, that's the working cow horse section. It'll be fantastic to see. That's always really exciting, Brett. We've got to cut one out down the far end and then, block it twice on the fence and wrap up a couple of circles in the middle. So that's always really entertaining.
That will just be phenomenal. They tell us there's 400 kilogram Friesian cross steers for that. That's just going to be mind-boggling in this arena. Surface is fantastic. The atmosphere is there.
Yep, sounds like fun. I've got one. You've got a couple, haven't you?
You bet, just can't wait to get in there.
Absolutely. We've also got the second half of the Nutrien Classic Camp Draft. So that's going to be another amazing event in the afternoon. It'll start, 3 or 4 o'clock, the same time as it did today. So, you'll have to get a spot on the hill and watch the event unfold.
Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of the Classic Roundup. We will go over the challenge. We'll have our finalists. We'll have the finalists for the Charlie Marr Memorial Young Guns. It's just going to be one hell of a, we're really ramping up into the back end of the camp drafting program, and we're going to have we'll be able to preview run after run in the Classic. We'll go back and see Ben Hall's 91-point run. Stay tuned, it's going to be a bumper.